I want to talk about openings because I think they're just so important. That's why I say to start with a bang, because it's so important to get the attention of the reader or the viewer, because without that, nothing really happens. The opening is really the first hurdle that someone has to get over. And if they don't get over that first hurdle, doesn't matter what you do in the second part, the third part, the fourth part, doesn't matter how great your close is. If you lose them at the opening, if they don't get past that, then nothing else matters. And I always like to say prospects are looking for an excuse to bail, right? They don't want to be doing this. They'd rather be checking their messages or their email or watching something on Netflix. Somehow you've gotten them to your sales letter or your video or whatever you've gotten them to. And right from the beginning, you've got to grab them, right? You've got to set the tone for what's to come, because they're going to judge what's going to come later by this. If it's not interesting, then they're going to think the whole thing is not going to be interesting. But if it's exciting, if it's interesting, if you say to them immediately, this is different, this is interesting, this is beneficial to you, this is worth your time. If you establish that right from the beginning, then they're going to want to keep being engaged with whatever it is, with the video, with the ad, with the sales letter. I really love some of the examples of this in other medium. You know, Hans Zimmer, who's a composer, talks about it in the music he composed for The Lion King for Disney, where you have that great opening. He starts with that African chant is what comes up on a black screen immediately. That cry that it opens with. And so right from the beginning, you know that this is different. This is not a Disney princess movie. This is going to take you into Africa. It's going to be dramatic. It's going to be interesting. Dickens' Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It's different. It's not your typical, it was a dark and stormy evening opening to a novel. Right away, he grabs you with that juxtaposition. The opening for Metamorphosis, which was a novel by Kafka. Gregor Samsa awoke one morning to find himself transformed into a giant insect. You know right away, this is going to be interesting. This is not the usual stuff. This is not some description of a character, and this is this person, and they're beginning their ordinary day of their ordinary life. Right away, this is going to be not ordinary and interesting. This is a great example from direct response. We'll go into a lot of different ways that you can open something in direct response, but this is just a great grab you by the lapels and suck you in right from the beginning. John Carlton ad for a golf product. If you've ever wanted to drive a golf ball with the explosive velocity of a howitzer cannon, adding half the length of a football field to your tee shots alone, while hitting all your fairways and greens with successful precision, this will be the most important message you have ever read. So right away, first of all, it's going to be of tremendous benefit to you if you're a golfer, because that's what you want, is to hit that golf ball farther and more accurately. But you also know this is kind of going to be fun. The language is going to be colorful. It's not going to be written in a passive tense. There are many things that go into being a good golfer. And among them are getting more distance and having more accuracy. In this ad, I will tell you how to get more distance and more accuracy. No, right away, this is going to be interesting to read. This is going to be exciting to read. So what are some of the different ways of opening? We just saw one where you open with like a startling benefit, hitting it like a howitzer cannon, hitting it with accuracy. Another way is, and again, you'll see at the end, these can all be combined with each other. They're not necessarily, you can do this or this or this, right? You can combine many of them even together. But another way is some sort of startling proof, right? Harvard University shows that you can hit a golf ball farther than ever, right? Scientific study shows it. Arnold Palmer says it. There's proof that you, and that gets people's attention, right? That startles them because not many things these days are backed up with real proof like that. And that's what people are looking for. There's a lot of claims out there, but when you have proof, then that differentiates you right away. Of course, you can open with a startling fact, right? Millions of golfers are hitting the ball wrong. I'm going to show you how to hit it right. Harvard University study shows that 9 out of 10 golfers, do this incorrectly. Their study shows that most golfers, their handicap is much higher than it needs to be. Some kind of fact, right, that gets their attention. Or some news. And of course, that news could be a startling fact, right? That this has just been reported. There's a piece in USA Today. There's been an announcement. There's been a change of some sort. People are interested in news, right? That's what they don't want to read your sales letter necessarily. They don't want to watch your video, but they do want news. They do want, the new in news, right? New things to learn. Relevance, right? Right away. If you're a golfer with a handicap between 10 and 20, whatever it is, right? This is for you. There's something about this that makes it particularly relevant. And in your opening paragraph, your opening sentence of what you write, if you start with that, you draw people into what you write. Curiosity, of course, right? If you can bring a celebrity in, this is the way Tiger Woods hits the golf ball. This is who's in the news now, right? This is the Britney Spears method for better golf. This is something that she uses. This is something that someone famous uses. Relating it to current events. A lot of times in investment, promotions will relate to current events, will relate it to the war in Ukraine, will relate it to something going on in China, will relate it to the coming recession. They'll be, and that'll make people like, they're curious now, I've got to find out about this. Juxtaposition, right? When there's two different things, that's the great thing about it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was a time of evil, it was a time of good. All these, nothing but juxtapositions, one after the other. And it makes people curious. How were these two things possible at once? Gary Benzavenga had a great promotion, Get Rich Slowly. It was a great juxtaposition of fast and slow. How could this be possible, right? Contrary. That always gets people's attention, right? You've been lied to about something. You're mistaken about something. There's some kind of myth, right? In this promotion, I'm going to tell you the biggest lie you're being told about how to play better golf. I'm going to tell you why golf manufacturers, people who make drivers, clubs are lying to you about something. People want to know what they're wrong about. They want to know things that are contrary to popular belief, contrary to conventional wisdom. Couple more things, right? Opening with praise. You could do worse than to open a video or sales letter with congratulations. There's a famous direct response letter that opens with, for American Express cards, that opens with, if the list on which I found your name is any indication, you are of above average, wealth, intelligence, discernment, and therefore I believe you are qualified for the American Express card. And it then goes on. But that's a kind of opening with congratulations. It's opening with making the prospect feel good about themselves. Rapport is kind of similar to that. Something that you've got in common with them. You're establishing rapport. We're different from others, you and I. We love this great game of golf. We're passionate about it. We love nothing more than waking up on a Sunday morning and going off to the golf course. And so I want to talk to you about how you can improve your game. Charm, wit. Drayton Bird is great at this. Robert Collier letters, a lot of his letters, even when he's got a lot of letters in his Robert Collier letter book where he's asking people for money. Yet it's very charming and it's very nice, and you like this person. And it's engaging. Drayton Bird will just say witty, they say such and such and such and such and such and such. And I find that to be true. And, you're probably a lot like me. You probably think that too. And so I want to talk to you today about, whatever it is he wants to talk to him about. But he's kind of charmed you into that the charm is in the opening. Not trying to sell you. He's not trying to give you a startling fact. He's not trying to give you huge benefits. He's just trying to give you a little bit of charm, and you're charmed and you want to stay with him and keep reading. Question, of course, is a great way to open a letter, right? If I could show you a way to, hit the golf ball 1,000, 100 feet farther, would you be interested? This is what this is all about. And as I said before, of course, these can all be combined. They can be mixed and matched with each other. You can have something that's, gives a big benefit and then has proof of that benefit all in that same opening, what I'm calling the opening, which is really the opening kind of paragraph of a letter, the opening of a video. What do you start out with? What's the first thing that you say, right? They've clicked on it. They've arrived on it. They're waiting. What is this person going to say to me? Are you going to say something which is going to engage them, which is going to get their attention, which is going to signal to them that, they can expect this to be informative and interesting, or are you going to lose them right at that point? That's why I say investing in your opening pays dividends, right? You can sell someone usually if they read 3/4 of your letter, right? They don't have to get to the end. But they do have to get past the beginning. So you should put a lot of attention into that, right? It also provides the framework for the rest of the promotion, of the video, of the letter, right? It establishes, what you're going to talk about, how you're going to talk about it, kind of sets the reader's contextual expectations as well. So, but mainly, the main thing is that's where you lose people, right? When you look at Wistia stats, right, for a video, a promotional video, and you see, right, starts out like 100% are watching, right? They all click, and then 10 seconds, 5 seconds, boom, you're at 50%, right? You've lost like half of the people right away. So the more interesting your opening, the better your opening, the more of those people that you can keep around, and the more of those people that you're going to convert into sales or into taking action or whatever you want to do. So work on your openings, pay attention to your openings, study great openings, study how, masters of the craft start their letters, right? Don't just look at headlines. Don't just look at, concepts of things, like, oh, what's the concept behind this ad or this video or whatever. But look at how they open. What's the first thing that's presented to the prospect? It's just hugely important.